Today on Rebel Report, our discussion panel will be taking a look at what the Lady Rebels have in store for this season and how they look to improve from last year.
Plus, we take you to PKWY Tavern to learn what they have to offer for Rebel fans.
And our community spotlight this week will focus on an event hosted by the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department Foundation, aiming to bridge the gap between police officers and the community through basketball. Hi Rebels, welcome to Studio G. I'm Mary Squires.
And I'm Nick Sylvester.
Here at Rebel Report, we have the exclusive content other media outlets don't have. We'll tell you about the UNLV teams, pro teams, and sport events around the campus.
And we are not just giving you the typical game recaps, but we offer extensive coverage of the ins and outs of sports going around Vegas. We hold weekly discussion panels about the latest in sports news happenings in UNLV with an inside look into the teams.
And we begin today's episode with some heartbreaking news from the Lady Rebels. The former head coach, Jim Bola, has died at the age of 70 due to cancer. Bola led the team to 7 trips to the NCAA tournaments during the 14 years as a coach. Coach Bola currently holds the record for the most wins in the program's history with 300 wins to 120 losses. Bola went on to become UNLV Director of Athletic Development. Bola's legacy will not be forgotten.
And now we're going to the Raiders with a look at their season and what they can do to improve for the second half.
Diego Escobar has a story.
Thanks, Marie. The Raiders have been having an interesting season, to say the least, from an electric offseason to a very disappointing start of the season. The Raiders are now 2-4, coming up to the midway point of the season. With this, let's take a look at some of the key factors that put the Raiders where they're at today. The Raiders were very pass-heavy the first few games of the season, which made opposing defenses figure out the offensive scheme easily. Thankfully, the coach McDaniels started to utilize our run game, which helped us with possession of the ball and start scoring in the red zone. However, the offense is not perfect. Costly fumbles and turnovers have hurt the Raiders in crucial situations, and awareness within route running is something that needs to be worked on, since that is what cost the Raiders the loss against the Chiefs in the first place. Lastly, the run defense is something that needs to seriously be worked on, and it's been struggling to bring the runner down. Teams have forced their will on the Raiders with ease, as most of the running backs break the tackles of players or just carry them for an extra 10 yards. Unfortunately, the Raiders cannot rely on lucky plays like the fumble against the Broncos that led to the defensive touchdown. Despite the negative, the Raiders are one of the best 2-4 teams in the league, with most of their losses being within one score, and they still managed to have the 4th highest scoring offense, scoring at least 27 points. Again, that being said, their next matchup is against the New Orleans Saints, who are stunned with a bunch of injuries going into the game on both sides of the ball. So 3 keys for the Raiders to win this game are to keep the offense balanced, tighten up on the defense, and especially on the ground, and no costly penalties. Back to you, Nick and Marie.
We are now going to Wyatt to see the latest for what's going on in UFC.
So Wyatt, tell us more about what happened this past weekend in Abu Dhabi. You're up.
What's going on, UNLV? Today we're going to take a look at what happened this past weekend at UFC 280 in Abu Dhabi. The first of 3 highlighted matches from the main card, number 1 Peter Yan versus number 11 Sugar Sean O'Malley. This star-studded bantamweight bout was everything the height led to be and more. As we see here, Yan O'Malley both exchanged major blows. Yan with a great takedown on O'Malley, which characterized the second round and how it went. Meanwhile, Sugar Sean displayed his phenomenal striking as he did 40 times to Yan's 15 in the third. The tightly contested 3-round bout ended in a controversial split decision in favor for O'Malley, as seen by the official scorecard here. Next was the Bantamweight Championship, where champion Aljamain Sterling took on the challenging number 4 TJ Dillashaw. This fight took a turn for the worse for TJ as he dislocated his shoulder not once, but twice. Sterling took advantage of the mishap and recorded 7 minutes of ground time and was while landing 148 strikes to Dillashaw's 13. Ultimately, Dillashaw's inability to defend himself allowed Sterling to take him down 3 minutes and 44 seconds in the second round by TKO. And now the main event of the night, the lightweight title, number 1 Charles Oliveira and number 4 Islam Makhachev. Makhachev stunned the world by submitting the greatest submission artist in history. In his post-fight interview, he calls out the best fighter pound for pound.
I said he wants to fight you in Australia. Defend his championship against you where you try to become a double champion. Are you down?
Let's do it. Hey, the lightweight on the line, pound for pound number 1 on the line. Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up.
There you have it, a possible championship fight to look forward to in 2023. Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski. UFC 281 comes November 12th at Madison Square Garden. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Y Touche. Back to you, Marie and Nick.
The UNLV football team traveled to South Bend, Indiana last week to take on the Fighting Irish for the first time.
And the team is on a bye week, and Dom tells us all about it.
Nick, Marie, thank you. The UNLV Rebels, they enter this bye week at 4-4. While this win total doubles the wins seen last year in the program, the Rebels have lost their last 3 straight games, and it's been an absolute brutal run for UNLV. And a main contributor to that run is the missing presence of quarterback Doug Brumfield. Brumfield was injured against San Jose State and left the game with a head and ankle injury and hasn't returned since. Due to that, the UNLV passing game has begun to kind of lack more and more, with Cameron Frail and Harrison Bailey seemingly alternating snaps. This is almost mirroring the QB room last season, with Doug Brumfield, Cameron Frail, Justin Rogers, and Tate Martell all alternating snaps, Martell coming in on third downs here and there. And there was a bit of a lack of cohesiveness in that QB room, which seemed to have led to the losses last season and this season. And then the defense. The defense has been getting lit up these last 3 games. Prior to week 6, the Rebels only averaged about 20 points per game in their hot start. And now in each one of their losses in this losing skid, the opposing team has put up at least 40 plus points each night. This is harming UNLV's points against average for their entire team. And this is going hand in hand with their lack of offense and really contributing to their struggles. And the stats don't really look good. But it's not all doom and gloom for the Scarlet and Gray. The Rebels' run game has seen somewhat of a bright spot this season. Aiden Robbins out of Louisville has had a monster year as a transfer, picking up 591 yards on the ground and 8 touchdowns through 7 games so far. And his backups, Courtney Reese and Jordan Young-Humphrey, have been having solid years behind A-Train. Reese is averaging a monstrous 7.6 yards per carry this season, getting 357 yards on the year, but he hasn't hit pay dirt yet this season, no touchdowns. And Young-Humphrey, he's putting up modest time and support, 2 touchdowns and 61 yards on 18 carries. Now the Rebels, they hit the turf next time on November 5th on the road against San Diego State. In the studio, I'm Dominic Lavoie. Back to you.
Thank you, Dom. PKWY Tavern is the place to be on a Rebel game day. We go to Jose Tabares with what they had to offer for Rebel fans.
What's good, Rebel Nation? We're out here at PKWY Tavern Decatur, here for the UNLV football game day. As you can see, we kind of got the party started already, so let's go check it out. PKWY Tavern is the place to be during Rebel Game Day. Jameson Mapes, Director of Marketing for Fine Entertainment, tells us why fans should come to the tavern to cheer on the Rebels.
Well, PKWY Tavern is the official tavern of the UNLV Athletics, so we're a proud supporter of all things UNLV, not just athletics but the university as well.
They tell us PKWY is also family friendly, so everyone in the family can enjoy the game.
One thing that's unique about PKWY Tavern is that we're family friendly. So we have the bar area, obviously, which is 21 and over, but we have separate dining areas in all of our venues that are open to all ages. So you can bring the family in, you can enjoy the game. We have kids' meals, we have games, activities for kids to keep their interest during the game, because I know sometimes that's difficult. But then we also have 250 beers, full bar, and then menu 24/7 that's available for anybody to enjoy.
They also tell us PKWY offers game day specials, including a UNLV exclusive deal when you're coming from a home game.
We actually have a tailgate special that we do for all sporting events, which is 20 wings, 2 pizzas, and 2 pitchers of beer for $50. So it's a pretty good deal if you have a group and you want to come in and watch the game. Any sporting events we have on TV all the time. Well, all games throughout the year, any home game that Rebel fans go to, they can bring their ticket into any PKWY Tavern and receive a free Miller Lite. We partnered with Molson Coors this year as our official beer partner for UNLV Athletics. So we're proud to partner with them and make this offer available to any fan, any game. You can come in, bring your ticket in, and we'll give you a free draft beer.
Fans can watch every game at PKWY Tavern, and make sure to stay tuned as PKWY has more for Rebel fans on the way.
We're intertwined with the university at multiple levels, and we're super excited that we're able to have this partnership with UNLV and to be able to share our venue with Rebel fans.
This is Jose Tabares reporting for Rebel Report.
Thanks, Jose. Coming up next on our panel, we'll be taking a look at what the Lady Rebels have in store for this season and how they look to improve on last year.
Thanks, Nick. college basketball is almost upon us. We are T-minus 1 week away from the season where UNLV Lady Rebels start off with a 3-game homestand. So it's only right we're here to talk about what to expect. So last year, our Lady Rebels, they were not projected to be atop of the Mountain West. And this year, all eyes are on them to perform again. So what can you expect, and what do we see? How will the hunter versus being the hunted change the perspective for this season?
I think for sure before Coach Lindy's first year, we were predicted 9th. We finished 2nd, and last year we finished 1st. So I think for the girls, it's not really about, I'm like, the numbers don't matter. They don't worry about it. They know what they need to do. And I feel like, yes, there's a lot of pressure on them for winning the tournament and winning the conference, but I feel like they don't necessarily look at the pressure. If you guys remember Desi in the video, she was like, pressure? I don't have to worry about pressure. So I think as long as they lock in, then that's all they need.
I would say this along the lines, I don't think they really feel pressure either, because coming off last season, after speaking with Coach LaRock too, they said they're still hungry. Like, they got far, but they want to get farther. So, like, I think they're more motivated to try and get past the first or even, like, the second round and also win the conference title. So we'll see what they show up with this season.
Absolutely, Chris.
Yeah, and I think we'll really see what their attitude is at the start of the season, because I think the entirety of November they're at home, so it'll be interesting to see kind of what attitude they have. Will they come out motivated? Will they come out slightly lethargic, a bit lazy? But yeah, I think we'll really see where they're going at the start of the season.
And what are some pinpoints they could focus on this season to improve from last year?
For sure, just taking care of business from day one. Like, if you're thinking about March, because everyone loves March Madness, but if you only think about that, you're going to miss the opportunities that are going to get you there. So they need to focus step by step.
I would probably say the same thing. Take it one game at a time and probably focus. A couple things maybe is rebounding a little bit. That might be one thing, that because they're a little undersized, so maybe rebounding would be one thing to point to. And three-point shooting, I know they're going to have a little bit better because they added a new player, Ashley Scoggin, who's a 40% three-point shooter, so that will improve in that area as well. But Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, with the size factor, I think it's good that they brought in that new rookie girl. I think it's Erica Collins. Yeah. So that gives them a little bit of size. But I'm a bit concerned about the defense as well, because I thought that Kayla Rooks, I thought she brought a lot to the defense, and so did Jade Thomas as well. She brought a lot to the defense as well. So I think kind of looking at how they're going to set up, obviously they've still got Justice Etheridge, who's the anchor of that defense, but I'm just going to be interested to see what they do in that aspect.
All right, I want to use this time for you to point out a breakout player, someone, put the world on notice, someone the world is sleeping on. So let me know a breakout player or two from you guys.
Nneka Obiizor, she is the breakout player. She is hungry. She wants it. She is a undersized post, but it doesn't matter because she rebounds. She works hard. She fights for every ball, and I'm excited to see what she brings this season for sure.
I'm going to go back to the player I just mentioned, Ashley Scoggin, because she's a new player, so nobody in the Mountain West really knows anything about her yet except the accomplishments she was in last season. But she's a three-point shooter. I think she'll really help off the bench and provide a spark for that team.
Yeah, I want to see a little bit more from Kiera Jackson, because I thought last season we definitely saw a couple of flashes as far as just how talented she is and how good she can be for that team. She comes off the bench, she basically replaces Essence Booker as like that, top scorer on the team. But I think she could give I'd like to see a little bit more from her for sure, and I think she's very capable of doing that.
And really quick, bold prediction for our Lady Rebels this season. How far will they go? What's expected to see?
I mean, you got to shoot for the stars, right? I say they're going to win the whole thing. NCAA championship tournament, March Madness, they're taking it all home.
I'm going to just say I think they're going to make the tournament again. I don't know how far they'll go, but I think they will go farther than last season for sure.
I'd like to see them as a higher seed, hopefully, but at least win that first round game, because they should have beaten Arizona last season. So I'd like to at least see them get one win.
All right, thank you. That's going to wrap it up for today's panel. I got some experts here with me and the inside source herself, and that's going to do it for today.
Okay, so for this week's Who Is That Rebel, we had a little history lesson for our Rebels. So we've got the 1990 championship team, and of course, the man himself, Coach Jerry Tarkanian. Let's see who remembers them.
You know who any of these guys are. Just one name.
Any name?
Oh, man.
No? Nothing?
I don't think I do. This is bad because I'm a sports journalism major.
I know the one in the middle.
Okay, what's his
That's
name?
Larry Johnson.
Yes, very, very good.
Any of the other ones, I'm not too sure, but they were.
That's fine.
dream
As
team.
yeah, as long as you know one of them. So, what about this guy?
Oh, that's the man. That's
the man. That is the man.
Tarkanian, Coach Tarkanian, the greatest.
Yes,
Yeah.
awesome. Here's another one. This one's more important. Who is that? Yes, 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 yes. If you flip over to the next one, if you get that one right, it's a different person. Please tell me you've got this one.
All right, now I'm just embarrassed. Okay, so Tarkanian was clearly the coach, but
Yes,
come on,
yes.
guys. You gotta go away and come back.
Okay.
I need a minute to prepare myself.
That's the dream team.
What is?
That's Michael Jordan. That's
No.
Stephen Curry
No.
and the Harlem Globetrotters.
Nope. Do you actually know any of their names?
I do not know any of their names, but I'll tell you, they look very good in red.
Yes. No help. No help from you. No help from you. All right. Who is this guy?
Is that Tark?
Yes, it is. We did what you said. We came back. Did you clear your head?
I did nothing to prepare myself again.
You know who these guys are?
Yes, sir. It's the championship team.
Yeah. Do you know any of their names?
Grandmama, Larry Johnson, Greg Anthony, I know Stacey Ogman.
Yes, sir. All right.
I'm blanking on those two.
There we go.
His initials. I'm gonna get it.
LJ.
Why can't I do this?
LJ, GA.
Greg Anthony.
Yes.
Greg Anthony.
Yes.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. LJ.
You did it.
All right.
Who is that man?
He's
got that statue is outside of Thomas and Mack.
And I see it all the time, and I walk by it. And,
Yes, you do.
I have no idea.
Apparently, you were screaming a name. I didn't quite get that.
I just Larry Johnson.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, Larry Johnson. Okay, that's two.
We're heading now to the field with this week's episode of Grubbing Rebels.
Let's see what they're grubbing on now.
Welcome back to episode 3 of Grubbin' Rebels. We are here again at Mr. Fry's on Flamingo, the best food around campus. And I'm here with
Nick Williams, senior center back for the UNLV soccer team.
Let's see what Nick wants to grub on today.
Let's do it. I'm going to do the Jade. That's all for me.
How did it feel to be posted on Random College Athletes page?
It was actually probably one of the greatest days of my life. I've been following that account with my buddies since they've been around, and just hoping one day I got on it. I don't know how, but it was awesome. It was really funny.
And Tiger Woods was actually posted on that too, huh?
Yeah, I saw that picture of him today at Stanford that made me feel special that maybe I was posted before Tiger Woods. So
For a reason.
Probably for a reason. Yeah.
How did it feel like kind of having like your world like turn upside down and like the unknown after they shut down New Mexico soccer?
It was crazy. They shut us down the week before the season was about to start, and they said this is going to be it for New Mexico soccer after the season. And so myself and the rest of my teammates kind of had to scramble to get in the transfer portal and, kind of get rid of that season because it wasn't ever going to matter. So it was hard, and I had never moved away from home, and I ended up finding that UNLV was going to be the best spot for me. And I was lucky enough to have two teammates also transfer from New Mexico, Bailey Leatherman and Billy Jones. And so that helped me a ton, and I looked up to those guys and appreciated them for helping me move away from home and, establish a life here.
Right. And like when you put that jersey on and being a true rebel, like what's that mean to you?
I think it's I've thought about that over the years since I've been here, being a senior, and I think being a Rebel mostly is just about family and it's about community, because the Las Vegas community is so close-knit and everybody really cares about the Rebel sports, and all the teams are families, and the guys are your families, so you're playing for more than just yourself. You're playing for the people you inspire back home and your teammates and the kids who come watch games, and so you're not really wearing it for yourself anymore, you're doing it for everybody else.
That was a really good response.
And you can catch the full episode on our YouTube channel.
For this club spotlight, we go out bright and early.
Barry Sabine has more on this. Barry?
The beauty of sports is that it can happen at any time or any hour. Well, for this club spotlight, we take a quick look into UNLV rowing. The rowing club has been chopping on the water since 2019 and have built their club through the UNLV Involvement Fair. However, students may be taken aback on how challenging rowing can be. Coach Kayla Langford had this to say about the learning curve when it comes to rowing.
A lot of kids start off rowing in college, so you're not behind the curve. Just come out, give it a try. We'll teach you everything you need to know, and we'll have a lot of fun in the process.
For more information, check out UNLV Rowing Club on Instagram if you're ready to join at UNLV Rowing. This has been your club spotlight. For Rebel Report, Barry Sabine.
The rowing club meetings are at Lake Las Vegas Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 5 a.m.
And now for some big news for the Valley. Formula One will be hosting a launch party for the 2023 Las Vegas Grand Prix. The party will be held November 5th at Caesars Palace and will go from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. The day-long event will include activities for fans to try, including a pit stop challenge, a simulator, as well as a photo opportunities with cars and trophies. The night will conclude with an exclusive concert by the Killers at Omnia Nightclub.
Switching gears now to our eSport beat reporter, Sebastian is telling us all about the UNLV team winning the latest Overwatch and Call of Duty tournament.
Welcome back to your esports update. My name is Sebastian Rooney, and I'm here to give you all you need to know about esports at UNLV and in Las Vegas. Let's start with Overwatch. Over the last weekend, the UNLV Overwatch teams, the Rebel Gaming Crusaders and Cavalry, traveled to Bakersfield, California to compete against local and other out-of-state universities. This event marked just the third time that the UNLV Overwatch teams have traveled out of state for competition. And at this event, both UNLV teams finished in the top 3, where the Crusaders were able to win it all after sweeping the entire tournament, and the Cavalry came in third. Congratulations to both the teams for their play, and we hope to see them represent UNLV well come the start of the collegiate Overwatch season. Now for professional esports. It was announced back on June 1st that the formerly Paris Legion Call of Duty team would be relocating to Las Vegas, and with the relocation of the team meant an almost entirely new roster. During this offseason, they dropped 3 players, Gravity, Jimbo, and Nojani, and replaced them with Claser, TJ Halley, and Prolute. With a new team and a new city, they hope that this is enough for them to not finish last in the new season, but only time will tell whether or not these were impactful changes. And that's it. My name is Sebastian Rooney, and this has been your Esports Update.
And now we will turn to our mental health segment, where Jade and Marie will have more on the injuries and their impact on the players.
Thank you, Nick. So Rebels, we're back this week for another mental health segment. I have Jade Thomas with me, and this week we're going to talk about sport injuries. So obviously injuries are mostly physical, but it doesn't mean that they don't take a toll on the athletes. And so Jade, I know that you had to put your basketball career on hold because of your injury. So I wanted to ask you, how's it been for you?
It's been a roller coaster for sure, especially because I haven't really talked about it publicly. So what better place than Rebel Report? But it's kind of hard to explain because freshman year I was healthy. I was playing. It was great. And then I had some trouble and I had a tear in my posterior labrum. And then that was just so hard, like mentally, like you mentioned, and physically. Like it's like when you're not 100%, it really is like it takes a lot on you because you want to do your best, but you can't because you're not at 100%. And then after I had surgery last May, and so I'm having problems with my ribs, so that was like the thing that sealed the deal on, all right, I need to cap it. So it's hard because that's what I had my whole life. So.
Yeah, I bet it's really difficult. So what would you say was the hardest thing for you? Was it like not being part of the games anymore, missing training, missing like the relationship with the other players? What was it for you that was the most difficult?
I would say feeling like I quit because I wasn't raised to be a quitter. So having to walk away from the sport that I literally have been playing since 3rd grade, it felt like I was walking away from like a piece of myself. So that part was definitely very, very hard.
Yeah, I can't imagine because you athletes, like how many hours a week do you even train?
So many.
Yeah.
Every day it's a grind. It's, you know, it's a lot harder than some people see. You know, they don't see other things. But as a dancer, did you ever experience like any physical injuries as well?
Not really. I was kind of lucky on that one. But I know some friends had to stop, and like you said, it's difficult to do something not like all the way through, and like how good you could do it if you were not injured. That's pretty difficult.
Yeah, definitely. The pain, you know, as an athlete you're trained, like the pain doesn't matter, you know, the pain doesn't matter, but when it starts to become so evident that you can't ignore it, and like, you know, you're having problems with ribs and everything, it's like very, very hard, especially getting back to who you were before.
I bet. And so my last question for you is, how do you manage to not be bitter when you see your teammates play? So kind of like, what's your way to cope with it?
Well, I love these girls. The team, they really helped me last season, and they gave me so much support. So just having them there, like, I just want to see them do well. So there's no bitterness there at all.
Cool. That's awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Rebels. We'll be right back next week with another health segment.
Now, like every week, we're bringing a community spotlight. This week, our own Jared Feldman went to a very special event hosted by the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Foundation. The goal was to bridge the gap between police officers and community through basketball. And our very own Lady Rebels were also there to help out. Let's take a look.
On Saturday, October 22nd, the LVMPD hosted their 9th annual Safe Neighborhood Youth 3-on-3 tournament at the UNLV Student Recreation and Wellness Center. LVMPD Foundation board members Walt Walters and Earl White started this event with a vision to break down barriers. We spoke with Walters on the goal of that vision.
Earl and I believe that what we wanted to do is break down barriers in the community. And the more events like this that we have, it draws understanding because they get to meet a police officer, and the police officer gets to meet them. That's important too.
Jim Seebach, the deputy chief of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, highlighted the importance of bridging the gap between police officers and the community.
Oh, it's critically important, and it's never ending, and that is a full-time job for us, to connect with the community, to partner with them, provide opportunities for these kids to see police and interact with them in a positive light and a positive atmosphere. And it's not just about the kids, it's about the parents, it's about seeing the outreach that's being done, and the collaboration, and also the relationships. You'll see that these kids get to know their neighborhood officers, their area command officers, and they'll see them, they'll wave to them, and it builds that bridge for us moving forward, and it makes police be seen in a positive light.
The Lady Rebels were in attendance, helping the kids warm up for their tournament. They spoke on the importance of being there for the kids.
Oh, it's very important. I mean, I got to give back to my community. It's the city I came to represent, and I got to give back a little bit, and I love little kids, so I'm excited to be here this morning.
It's really important. I've grown to love and appreciate just the youth and just how it brings the community together and just forms a great bond for UNLV as well as the community.
Yeah, I think so too. Just being a kid one time, I remember like times like these, like I would always go to camps and I'd always look up to those kids, and just being able to be the person that those kids look up to is really important, and just making sure they're having a good and fun time here it's really important to me.
It's all about kids, cops, and community. That's it. I'm excited about this every year.
Reporting for Rebel Report, I'm Jared Feldman.
Thanks, Jared, for giving us that exclusive into the event. And now that's all for our sports news today. Thank you for tuning in.
If you haven't already, make sure you follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And make sure you listen to our Rebel Report podcast every Saturday on Spotify. And Nick, I think it's a pretty busy sport weekend, right?
Yeah, we got the Vegas Golden Knights coming up.
Tonight, right?
Yeah.
Who are they fighting against?
The Ducks.
The Ducks, that's right. And then tomorrow, I think the Lady Rebels are hosting a very special event, a carnival with an open practice.
Yeah, that's going to be huge for this weekend.
Right, food and everything.
Oh yeah, and then we got the World Series starting Friday night.
Nice. Well, you know what? we know what we're going to be doing this weekend, right?
Exactly.
Thank you so much for watching us, and have a good day.